Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man was created by Jeff Trammell, a writer for Craig of the Creek. It's an animated series mostly cut off from the cinematic universe of the movie, starting with yet another retelling of the titular web-slinger's origin story. Although, it takes a bizarre approach to that origin, but it pays off when more stuff is explained in the season finale. Yeah, I guess not all of it makes sense after that, but that's pretty much to be expected for something that involves I was a little too late in starting this to watch it from week to week, but I was still able to catch up to it just in time to start working on this video the week after the show ended. I actually watched the last episode on Sunday night, and I usually start writing the scripts for these videos on Mondays, so I literally finished it last minute. Not on purpose though, I would have made this video on the monkey with or without this show. But whatever, you don't care about that. How's the show? It's pretty good. It's nothing really groundbreaking, but it's serviceable. The art style is probably the best thing about it, replicating a comic book style. Sort of like what the Spider-Verse movies did, but not as much. And not as well animated, but that's a high standard to hold anything to. It's also not on the same standard as X-Men 97. That show is more ambitious and with a little more dramatic heft. This plays it safe and keeps it light and kid-friendly. Yes, I know the X-Men cartoon was a continuation of an actual kids show, but it amped up some stuff to a PG-13 level. Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man is slightly edgier than your average Disney Channel cartoon, but if it's on a PG-13 level, it's a very weak PG-13. So at least the show has that going for it. It also avoids the heavy themes and messaging of X-Men 97. Before the show began, the voice actor publicly said he was glad it wasn't woke like other Disney programs. That tells you all you need to know. Although, what's weird is that this show still has some characters who are race and gender swapped. Okay, conspiracy theory time. I don't think the guy actually believes that it's less woke than any other generic Marvel Disney thing. He probably doesn't care either, like most people on Earth. I think Disney just told him to say that to take advantage of how the people who complain about this kind of thing probably don't have any actual definition of the word woke. They just believe what anybody on the internet says. So listen to me, a guy on the internet. This isn't woke, just like most Marvel Disney stuff. And that's part of the reason it's not as good as X-Men 97. Whatever, let's stop comparing this show to other things. On its own, it's not bad. It has an interesting story and some good cartoon action. Pretty much all you could ask for in a show like this. And also, once again, mild language and rare shot of blood aside, it's a bit more kid-friendly than most other Marvel Disney stuff, so great family viewing. This isn't essential viewing, even for people who still care about the continuity of the Marvel Universe, but you could definitely do worse than watch it. It's a fun, lighthearted superhero cartoon. Nothing more, but also nothing less. The Monkey is from writer and director Osgood Perkins, the brain behind last year's Longlegs, based on a short story by Stephen King. It's also produced by James Wan, and the marketing is really selling the hell out of those three, because it's a good pairing. I really did enjoy Longlegs and think it would be held in higher regard if the advertising didn't prop it up as the second coming. Now Neon's being somewhat modest with the praise in their advertising of this one, and I think that will probably make it more respected for now. Hey, it's still got butts and seats. This was the second highest opening for Neon ever, behind only... I'm guessing Neon is really valuing Perkins now. Anyway, enough nonsense. Let's talk about the movie. It's nothing like Longlegs. At all. That one was disturbing and unsettling through its atmosphere and had a very dark and dead serious tone. The Monkey is a horror comedy focusing mostly on gore and killing people. It's also nothing like the story. Yes, I have read that story between now and when I put it on my most anticipated list. How did I know which book had the story? It's the one with a literal monkey on the cover. Either way, this isn't the kind of thing I was expecting when I saw that first teaser, which basically just said who was involved in it. None of these people are known for this kind of thing. I guess Wan directed Malignant and King has Creepshow and probably some other stuff. But Perkins' previous work, at least from what I've seen, is nothing like this. Well, it doesn't matter because it turns out he can still do this kind of horror as well. This movie and its source material revolves around a toy monkey. Oh, sorry, the characters hate it when you call it a toy because it isn't. It's pure evil. Anyway, anytime it goes off, it kills people. Except while the story has it go off at random and just gives people normal deaths, here it needs to be activated and it gives its random victims some elaborate over-the-top Final Destination type thing. In my most anticipated list video, I said it might be the artsy version of Final Destination. Turns out I was wrong. This is just a straight up reskinned Final Destination. I'm surprised they didn't play the trailer for the actual new Final Destination movie before my screening. Like, what movie do you think it would be better suited for? Paddington? Anyway, I love horror comedies, but I don't know if this would have made it so high on my list if I knew this before the beginning of the year. But it doesn't matter because it's an actually fun and funny horror comedy. The deaths are over the top, funny, and gory, with a few that may leave you wincing, with some dark humor outside the kills as well. This movie has been recently marketed with dialogue like, and the latter of which appearing front and center on an official poster. And while sadly I don't think any of those lines appeared in the actual movie, there's plenty of other stuff in that realm of camp to make up for that. Although, knowing the story, I'm not really sure if the liberties they took really make it the best way to adapt it. I interpreted the story as just being about the randomness of death and tragedy, and now having a story where characters try to control the monkey just feels kind of not as good. Anyway, though it doesn't have much of King's story left, there's still some of Wan's fingerprints on it with the design of the monkey. We know he has a thing for creepy dolls, and he displays that here with the monkey's design, sort of like how it's described in the story. He hated its grin. That monkey grins just like a bro, what the fuck? Uncle Will had said once, but it didn't grin like a bro, what the fuck? Or anything human. Its grin was all teeth, and if you seriously bro, what the fuck? In King's defense, this was written about a different time. Also, he was on a lot of drugs in the 80s when he was writing this, and those drugs did often turn him into an edgelord. Also, more about the design, they apparently wanted to have symbols like in the story, or literally any other toy monkey on the planet. But Disney apparently wouldn't let them because they think they hold the rights to that design that they didn't make just because some minor character in Toy Story 3 looked like that. We live in a dumb timeline. Forget what I said about the Spider-Man show. It sucks now because fuck you, Disney. How dare you try to make it anti-woke. But anyway, not all of its over-the-top tendencies work. There are a few times where it's just a little too ridiculous for its own good. Like there's this one scene where a woman jumps into electrocuted water and just explodes immediately.
Wait. In all my years as a licensed mortician, I've never seen anything like this.
That was ridiculous.
And the movie's over the top, but I'm still not sure if it's over the top enough for stuff like that. Also, there's one scene involving some cheerleaders, which I don't even know what they were going for there. Whatever it was, it didn't work. And the story isn't great either. It starts out decent, but a twist halfway in sends it down a pretty stupid path. Although I guess I appreciate just how nihilistic it was willing to get at the end. This isn't a perfect movie, but it's still a fun one that should definitely tie over fans of Final Destination until a new one comes out. It might even end up being the better one. It's already better than many of the Final Destination movies. This is a different movie than advertised earlier in its promotion, but it just shows how much range these people have in the horror genre. I personally don't think it's as good as Longlegs, but it still definitely works as its own thing. Moves to the beat of its own drum.